How's it going, guys? Welcome back to some more Pokemon Scarlet and Violet Wi-Fi battles. Today we witness the power of Lycanroc-Dusk as our opponent brings an interesting Swords Dance variant. Friendly reminder to drop a like on the video and subscribe to join us on our journey to 20k subscribers. And with that all being said, let's jump straight into the first battle. Alright, the first battle is here. We're going against Abel, also known as Presidential 17 from the Discord server in the OU tier. Sorry, I mean UU tier. Ignore me. Anyway, they've got a Talonflame, a Thunderous Incarnate, Swampert, Slowbro, Cacturn, and a Lycanroc-Dusk. Pretty powerful team. I like the Cacturn. That's really cool to see. So the Talonflame as well, and the Lycanroc-Dusk, really cool stuff. So I think I probably lead off with the Ninetales to get the screens up straight away. They may lead off with the Lycanroc, so I'm actually half tempted to go with the Virizion lead, because Virizion does really well against their team as well, especially that Cacturn and the Slowbro and stuff like that. So I might lead off with that, but I'm leaning more towards maybe a Feraligatr lead as well. Feraligatr does really well against their team. They may expect the Ninetales lead and go with something else to counteract that, but I think I will go with the Ninetales lead, actually. And the battle begins. Good luck, have fun, Abel. So they lead off with Thunderous. Very good lead on their behalf. We lead off with our Ninetales. So we can go straight for a Freeze Dry here. There's no real reason not to. It hurts everything on their team pretty much. So I will go for the Freeze Dry here because they may go for a Taunt. They go for a Flash Cannon. That's going to sting as it KOs my Ninetales. I did not expect Flash Cannon off a Thunderous Incarnate. So that's really thrown me off right now. So what can we do here? I'm leaning towards the Skeledirge or the Goodra. I think Goodra's probably the best bet. So I am going to go into Goodra. We can freely drop a Draco on their entire party. Goodra may actually be really important in this game. So let's try it. Let's go for a Draco Meteor and see what they do. They withdraw the Thunderous. What are they going to go into to take a Draco? Probably going to be Swampert. I was going to say Swampert. Yeah, Swampert comes in. There it is. Looking amazing. We go for a Draco. Should do a lot of damage unless it's Assault Vest, which I think it might be based off that damage. And then we'll see. No, they've actually got leftovers. Interesting. So they must be a specially defensive Swampert, which is very interesting. So let's switch out. They more than likely go for a flip turn expecting a switch. So there we go. Going to withdraw our Goodra. Gonna go into our Virizion because it basically just threatens this Swampert into oblivion. So Virizion comes in. They go for a Stealth Rock, which is acceptable. I mean, getting Stealth Rocks up is going to be really useful for them because we do have some Pokemon weak to Stealth Rocks, like Skeledirge. So let's see how this plays out. They get the leftovers recovery, and then we just probably smack Leaf Blade in their face, right? So I decided to go for a Swampert because I'm expecting this Talonflame or the Thunderous to come in right now, as they do withdraw and they do go into Talonflame. So as long as we can hit this Stone Edge, we should be in a very good position, as we unfortunately do not hit the Stone Edge. So that was a really good play, but unfortunate luck, as now I'm going to have to go into Skeledirge. Skeledirge can't be burnt, etc., because the Talonflame are well known for using Will-O-Wisp and Defog shenanigans. So there we go. They're going to withdraw the Talonflame. I wonder why. And they're going to go into what? Swampert? Slowbro. So Slowbro comes in. It's a very good play. It's nice and shiny as well. Gotta love it. And we withdraw our Virizion because we weren't... You know, I wasn't going to stay in against the Talonflame. Could Brave Bear be into oblivion? So Skeletor comes in. It's nice and shiny as well. Gotta love it. I need to stop saying gotta love it because it's so annoying. And anyway, let's go for a Shadow Ball on this Slowbro. I don't see any reason not to go for a Shadow Ball. It hurts everything on that team except from the Swampert. So we go for a Shadow Ball. They actually stay in, interestingly enough. Maybe they didn't think we were offensive, but we are offensive as they stay in and go for a Scold, which does over half to my Skeledirge, which is crazy good damage, to be honest with you. I'm half tempted to go for a Slack Off, but they do more damage than we can heal, so I may as well go for another Shadow Ball. They do withdraw the Slowbro. Are they going to go Swampert? Swampert would make sense. Swampert comes in, which is fine. Getting damage off on the Swampert is going to be really important, definitely down the line. So we go for a Shadow Ball. Does about not very much of its HP, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. And now I can't really stay in. I could Terra Fairy and Slack Off. I am aware, by the way, that Alluring Voice is a thing on Skeledirge. I forgot all about it when I was building this team. So if we assume they're going to go for an Ice type move, predicting the Virizion, or they're going to go for a flip turn, we should go into Feraligatr. So I'm going to go Feraligatr real quick. And Feraligatr has now that the Slowbro is gone, Feraligatr has very limited switch-ins on their team other than Cacturn with its Water Absorb. So going into Feraligatr should be a decent one. They do get the Stealth Rock chip on us, which is unfortunate, and they do go for a flip turn. probably, if I had to guess, out into the Thunderous, which is fine because we can just go into Goodra. There's the Thunderous coming in, and we just have to get out of here, basically. So I am going to go straight into Goodra. They're probably going to read this like a book, but in Goodra's defense, Goodra can drop a Draco on anything now. Now that the Swampert's weakened, it can take it out of a Draco Meteor. So we just bring Goodra in and drop a Draco, and it KOs something pretty much on that team. So let's bring Goodra in. There we go. And Pointing Stones do dig in, which is unfortunate. They go for a T-Bolt, which is going to sting a little bit. Not really. A Sylvester is a thing. We just drop a Draco now. There's no reason not to drop a Draco on this thing. They do withdraw the Thunderous. What are they going to go into? Sacking off the Swampert or the Slowbro, I'd probably guess. Swampert comes in. Can Swampert take a hit from there? I don't think it can take a Draco Meteor from there. Surely not. No, we can't. Okay, cool. Swampert goes down. So we got the first KO. Well, we got our first KO. They've already KO'd on Ninetales. We got our first KO. We finally avenged Ninetales. And what have they actually got to hit us with other than like Lycanroc with its Endeavor? They go Cacturn. So Cacturn's an interesting one. I don't have Sap Sipper, unfortunately, which means I am going to have to switch out here. They more than likely go for a dark type move here, so I'm tempted to go into Donphan for Verizon. Verizon is probably the best option because it resists both its stabs. So if we go Verizon real quick, and there's actually no reason for us to not go for a Stone Edge other than it potentially missing. So I am going to go for a Stone Edge this next turn. They go for a knockoff, knocking off our Choice Band, which is really unfortunate. And that's stung quite a bit. What can I say? We've got Justified, so they can't really Sucker Punch us either, which is nice. Let's go for a Stone Edge because they probably switch out, right? So they stay in to take the Stone Edge, which they do, even at +1 attack, and they go for a Seed Bomb, which is going to do a hefty amount of damage to us. Now I've got to be careful. They probably go for a Sucker Punch here, so I am going to go straight into Donphan. I don't think they go for a Seed Bomb. I think they go for a Sucker Punch. That's for sure. Or they switch out, but I don't think they'll switch out. I think they stay in and go for a Sucker Punch because it will KO the Verizon from there. So let's see what they do as they go for a Sucker Punch, which is great. So now we can go for an Ice Shard, or we can go for a Rapid Spin. To get rid of these rocks. I'm more inclined to go for the Ice Shard, just because Cacturn's quite a threat at the moment, which I've never thought I would say. But Rapid Spin will KO the Cacturn, so we could go for it. I think I will go for it, you know. They do withdraw the Cacturn because they don't want to get Ice Sharded, which makes sense. They can still use it for Sucker Punch later. And they're going to go into Slowbro, which is going to go down to the Rapid Spin. No, it's not, because Regenerator. Okay, Regenerator's a thing. I forgot about that. So we go for a Rapid Spin. Does no damage, obviously. Gets rid of the Stealth Rocks, though, which is great. And now that the Swampert's gone, we don't have to worry about that. And they are Rocky Helmet, which is interesting. So, what do we do here? I'm leaning towards the Goodra again. Goodra's a good switch, because they're going to go for a Scald. We know they're going to go for a Scald. I've got two Pokemon that don't want to get burned. Donphan doesn't want to get hit by it at all. And neither does Skeletor. So I'm going to go Goodra. I think Goodra is the best Pokemon for us to switch in. There we go, withdrawing our Donphan. Like so. We're going to go into our Goodra because it can take any hit this thing wants to throw at us. No problem. They do go ahead and withdraw Slowbro. What are they going to go into, though? The Lycanroc, maybe? Thunderous. So they actually made a switch into Thunderous. So interesting choice because it can't really touch us. So I'm going to go for a Draco Meteor once again. As Goodra is putting on the pressure this game, I must say Goodra is definitely our most valuable Pokemon at the moment. They bring Cacturn in, which is definitely going to go down to a Draco provided we can hit it, as we do. And the Cacturn goes down. So there were no more Sucker Punch shenanigans from that thing. I think Lycanroc-Dusk does get Sucker Punch, but I don't think it normally runs it. They normally just run a Cellarrock, but I could be wrong there. Lycanroc comes in, so pretty interesting choice. We do have a Donphan, so I am going to go into the Donphan real quick because we get a free EQ off if we do that. Not really a free EQ because they can go Talonflame or Thunderous, but you know, it's some damage. So we'll go into Donphan. They do go for a Swords Dance, which is terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. So this Lycanroc is now a threat, so we have to go for an Earthquake here. Absolutely have to go for an Earthquake. They are going to Terror. What type are they terroring into? This could really throw us off the game. The Lycanroc may come through, and it may as well. No, it's Terra Fighting, so that's not too bad for us. They're probably going to go for a close combat. It's boosted by Swords Dance and by Tough Claws and by Terror. So Donphan may still take this because they're a defensive monster, but it's going to really do a lot of damage as it actually KOs us, so that's terrifying. Lycanroc is absolutely terrifying right now. I don't know what to do about it. Rocky Helmet at least does a bit of chip damage, breaking a potential Focus Sash that they may have. But this Lycanroc is really, really terrifying right now. So I think the best thing for us to do is to sack off Goodra. Now you may be wondering why. The reason is quite plain and simply because of Gooey. We need that Gooey. I hate saying that, but we need that Gooey in order to win this, or at least try and win this. So let's go for a Draco. No. They go for a close combat, so we go for a Terror. Yeah, we go for Terror. We go for Terror Poison on the thing. They might be thinking we're doing this to get the Gooey speed drop, which we are kinda, but I really, really think Terror Poison Goodra can live a close combat. So they do withdraw the Lycanroc. Great. So they really don't. Okay, that's fair enough. And they bring Talonflame in. What's Talonflame going to do? Talonflame can't take... Well, it can probably take one Draco. But we Terra Poison, which is all well and good. They probably thought we were going to Terra, which is why we brought the Goodra in. So at least we forced the Lycanroc out after it had a Swords Dance up. That's the most important part because it was very, very threatening. We go for a Draco Meteor though. It should do a lot of damage to the Talonflame as it nearly takes them out, which is fantastic. And then this next turn, we'll just drop another Draco real quick to finish it off. And just to make sure they don't go for any other move, oh, they go for a Roost. They go for a Roost. Let's see if we can do enough damage with this next Draco Meteor. Watch us get a crit. No crits. So that's unfortunate. Talonflame is going to come through and ruin my day. They probably go for another Roost, so I'm going to use this opportunity to get Skeledirge in and go for a Slack Off. Withdrawing Goodra into Skeletor is probably my best play to make, in my opinion. So there we go. Skeledirge is in. Nice and shiny. They go for a U-turn, which is really unfortunate. Very, very unfortunate, as they can probably just bring the Lycanroc back in now, which is terrifying to my Skeledirge. Thunderous comes in. So Thunderous is obviously a threat, especially if it's choice specs like I feel like it is. I am going to go for a Slack Off just in case we live this next hit, but they go for a Nasty Plot. Now, that's not going to affect my Skeledirge because we have the Unaware, which is great. So we get our health back with Slack Off, like so, and we're in a much better position now than we were before. So let's go for a Torch Song first. They go for a T-Bolt. It's a +2, but it doesn't matter. Oh, we got a crit. That's unfortunate. We get a Torch Song off, and that's not going to be enough to take out Thunderous, unfortunately, as that crit really, really, really stung. It would have still 2-hit KO'd anyway, so I'm not too mad about it. So let's go for a Torch Song again. They go for a T-Bolt, and it stings. Stings like an absolute so-and-so. So what do we do now? This thing is on the field. We have nothing to outspeed it. We're going to have to rely on the Assault Vest on Goodra, pretty much. And now that we're Terra Poisoned, Thunderbolt is neutral. So this has not worked out very nicely for us. So let's go for an Ice Beam real quick with the Goodra. Can Goodra live a +2 Thunderbolt from the Thunderous? Yes, it can. Just like that. We go for an Ice Beam. Takes out the Thunderous, no problem. And now they have 3 Pokemon left, which is great. Talonflame comes in. Now, Talonflame, the only thing Talonflame can really do here is either attack us or go down. I'm going to go for a Sludge Bomb because I feel like they attack us, which they do. They go for a Brave Bird, which does take us out. We do get the Gooey, which means we can outspeed this thing with our Feraligatr. We can outspeed it with Virizion. You name it, we can outspeed it. So I'm going to bring Virizion straight in, like so. Oh, they have... Oh, wait. They get the recoil, which means I could probably finish this thing off with a Terra Blast from Virizion. That's what I can probably do. I think I will bring Virizion in. I think Feraligatr is our way of being that Lycanroc, the only way of being that Lycanroc. So I feel like they let this thing go down. So I'm going to go for a Terra Blast so that I don't make contact and get burned. Terra Blast comes through. Should take out the Talonflame from there as it does. And we don't have to worry about being burned because Terra Blast without Terrestrializing is a special move always. Lycanroc comes through. This thing going to take us out of an Accelerock, no doubt. But I'm going to go for that Leaf Blade just in case, as they do go for a Close Combat, which is fine. Close Combat's going to sting like an absolute sod. And I don't think Feraligatr can live a Close Combat from this thing. I don't think it can. It might do, but it's Terra boosted and Tough Claws boosted. So Feraligatr is going to have to do some serious work right now if we want it to live this. So all we have to do is go in, hope for the best, click Liquidation, and hope we can live a Close Combat, which I don't think we can, but we might. You never know. We don't. And that's going to be the game. So GG, Presidential 17, sorry. GG. That was a really fun one. Lycanroc definitely came through for my opponent, that's for sure. And the second battle is here. We're going against Dez, also known as Double D, in the Discord server in the underused tier. Looking at the team, it's a very powerful one. Greninja, Iron Moth, Excadrill, Hydreigon, Scizor, and then Sceptile. Sceptile, I'm not going to sleep on Sceptile, that's for sure. They may lead off with Scizor or Iron Moth, expecting the Alola Ninetales lead. So I might be inclined to lead off with the Feraligatr. That could be good, but got to bear in mind Iron Moth does get Energy Ball. So I think Goodra is going to be important for handling the likes of the Sceptile and the Greninja and the Iron Moth. So I think I will lead with Ninetales. And if they lead with Scizor, I just switch straight into Skeledirge or Donphan to deal with it from there. And the battle begins. Good luck, have fun, Dez. So they're going to lead off with Scizor, as I kind of expected, as we lead off with Ninetales. I should have just led with Skeledirge, just predicting this, because it was pretty obvious they were going to counter lead my Ninetales, but sometimes I just think, nah, screw it. Let's go into Skeledirge real quick. Withdrawing Ninetales, and then we're going to go into Skeledirge, like Skeletor, that's the one. I was going to say, I call it Scovillain for some reason. Anyway, they go for a U-turn. It's going to bounce right off my Skeledirge, of course, and this gives them a free switch into the Hydreigon. or the Excadrill if they really want to, or the Greninja as well. Viper comes in, which is going to be the Hydreigon, nice and shiny. Look at that beauty. So I kind of want a Terra Fairy, but I kind of think they're going to predict that. So I'm going to go into Ninetales again. They may go for a U-turn expecting the switch. If they do, so be it. But I know I definitely can't take Skeledirge against the Dark Pulse from this thing because that's going to sting quite a bit. There we go. Going to withdraw Skeledirge. Going into the Ninetales once again. Cushell's going to come in and sponge a hit from this thing. Unless they go for a Fire Blast, in which case that'd be annoying. But they do go for a Dark Pulse, which is fine. Dark Pulse is going to do a bit of damage to us. Now, they may... I'm going to go for an Aurora Veil. 100% going to go for an Aurora Veil. Because they more than likely just switch straight into Scizor here because it takes both our stabs. As Monty comes in. What's Monty? Is that the Scizor? The Excadrill. So Excadrill comes in. We go for the Aurora Veil, and it looks like they haven't got Defog. Unless they've got Defog on Scizor, but I feel like they've got Excadrill, so they're probably Rapid Spin, right? So let's go into Donphan real quick. Donphan can take on this Excadrill, no problem. There we go. Going to withdraw our Ninetales. Going into the Donphan like so. There we go. And they go for an EQ, which is going to... It's going to do a little bit of damage, not too much. So now, what we can do is, looking at their team, we can go for a knockoff, and that's exactly what I'm going to do, because if their Hydreigon or Sceptile comes in, they go for a Brick Break. They have Brick Break on that thing? I could have took this thing out with an Earthquake. I did not expect Brick Break on the Excadrill, that's for sure. So knockoff does some decent damage, breaking a Focus Sash, and now the snow is going to stop. They probably switch out again. So I'm going to go for another knockoff. They do withdraw. So we get a knockoff on something else as well, which is great. And they're going to go into Shadow, which is going to be what? The Greninja. So we know it's not Battle Bond at least because Battle Bond can't be shiny. Go for a knockoff. Get rid of whatever item it's got, which it had a Life Orb. So that's less damage. And then we go straight into Goodra because Goodra's Assault Vested. We can definitely take any hit from this Greninja. Now, looking at the team, the only things that can switch into Goodra are going to be Scizor or Excadrill onto a Draco Meteor here. They are physical. Now we don't play around. We definitely don't play around here with this Greninja. We go for a Draco straight off the bat. They go for a Night Slash. It's going to sting. Not enough to KO us, unfortunately for them, as we're able to drop a Draco real quick and hopefully KO the Greninja with the Draco. We do. That's great. So Swords Dance Greninja is really interesting to see. Wasn't expecting that. I really thought Goodra was the perfect switch in, but apparently it's not. Scizor comes in. Scizor is a good switch here. They more than likely predict us to switch out into the likes of the Donphan or the Skeledirge again, and they probably go for a knockoff or a U-turn. So I'm going to stay in and go for a Fire Blast here. They do go for a U-turn. Fine by me. I'm happy with Goodra going down because it gives us some momentum, because now that they've gone for the U-turn to KO us instead, that means we get a free switch in on whatever they bring in. And we have got Pokemon to deal with the Pokemon they have. In comes the Iron Moth. So Iron Moth is a threat, that's for sure. We don't know what set it is. They haven't terrored yet. They are booster energy, and what's that going to boost? Is that going to boost their special attack speed? So speed is really unfortunate for that, but we do have the Skeledirge in the back, and we do have the Feraligatr as well. We also have the Verizon. If we really want to, we can Terra Water. That's what I'm thinking. I might do that actually. Verizon, Terra Water, but then they made Terra as well. I think I'll go Skeledirge because Skeledirge doesn't care much about any boosts it might get from Fiery Dance. I'm pretty sure Iron Moth doesn't get Earth Power. I'm pretty sure. Let's go for a Shadow Ball and find out what it's got. So it goes for a Discharge. Interesting. That's going to do a bit of damage to us. We go for a Shadow Ball, and hopefully this does more than half, or at least half. It doesn't. That's unfortunate. So now I'm going to go for a Slack Off because they more than likely... Oh, they go for a Toxic Spikes. Interesting. So Toxic Spikes are up, which is very annoying. I didn't really think Iron Moth would go for a Toxic Spikes. That's interesting. So we're going to Slack Off and get all our health back. And then the next turn, I'm going to go straight for another Shadow Ball. They go for another Discharge to get damage off. Makes sense. Might also... It does paralyze us. I was about to say might also paralyze us, but it does. As we go for a Shadow Ball, and that should nearly finish off the Iron Moth. Yeah, one more Shadow Ball will do it. Special defense drop as well, which is really neat. Now we just go for a Shadow Ball once again. They more than likely switch out if I had to get into Hydreigon here, but I didn't want to mess around with no Hydreigons. I mean, with no Iron Moth, sorry. So Iron Moth is going to switch out, and they probably bring Hydreigon in. Viper, that is the Hydreigon if I remember correctly. There it is, nice and shiny. We go for a Shadow Ball like so, and that should do a lot of damage to the Hydreigon. Not really. Oh, it does more than I thought it would. That's nice. So what we could do here is we could Terra Fairy. Skeledirge could be really useful in that regard. I don't really have a good switch into this thing. They may also predict the Ninetales switch and go for a Fire Blast, which is always a possibility. So I think I will Terra, go for the Terra Blast. I think that's the right play to go for. So We Terra real quick, like so. They haven't Terra'd, otherwise they would have gone first because they're clearly faster than us, especially with us being paralyzed. And there we go. We're a Terra Fairy with a nice love heart on our head, just in time for Valentine's Day. Not really. Valentine's Day's already been and gone, but you know what I'm trying to say. Dark Pulse comes through, and hopefully we don't flinch or paralyze. We don't. Great. As we can go for a Terra Blast and completely destroy this Hydreigon's life with a Fairy type move. That's all I needed. All I needed. So Hydreigon does go down, and that is going to be the game for Hydreigon. So let's see what they bring in next. Now they bring in Iron Moth once again, because obviously we're a Fairy type now, so we can't take a Sludge Bomb, Sludge Wave. So what do we do? That is the real question. What do we do? I'm leaning towards going for another Shadow Ball anyway. They do go for a Sludge Wave because we have no switch in, and Skeletor does go down. But it's fine. We can still handle this Iron Moth. I think Virizion is going to be really useful this game for taking care of that Excadrill, and to an extent the Sceptile, unless it's Power Herb or Summon Bird and Acrobatic set, you know. So what do I bring in now? That's the real question. So I'm leaning towards Donphan. If they've got Discharge and Sludge Wave and Toxic Spikes, they must have Fiery Dance. So I think Donphan should be all right. If they don't have Fiery Dance and they've got Energy Ball, I'm going to be questioning this set, because even though it's working against us, it's not very optimal. You know what I mean? So looking at the team, they get a free switch into Sceptile here, but I'm going to go for the EQ anyway. As they do go for a Fiery Dance, we should be able to take one of these, as we can, which is great. And it does give them a special attack boost, not that it matters, because we're about to slam that thing in the face with an Earthquake. Now, what's interesting is they still haven't Terra'd, so I'm wondering what their Terra is. Now that Iron Moth's gone, we've just got Sceptile to deal with, really. If Sceptile comes in, we Ice Shard it. If Scizor or Excadrill come in, we just let Donphan go down. Scizor comes in. So Scizor kind of has to go for a Bullet Punch here. I'm going to go for the knockoff just in case it Swords Dances. They go for a U-turn, which once again is going to give us some momentum, giving us a switch in on whatever they bring in. So hopefully we see an Excadrill switch, because that means we get a free switch in with Virizion. A free close combat against a team compiling a Pokemon that are neutral or weak to close combat is definitely a good situation to be in. Monty comes in. Who's Monty? I can't remember Monty. Excadrill. So that's great. We just go into Virizion now. Leave us alone. Leave us alone. We do get poisoned, unfortunately, from the Toxic Spikes, but it's no big deal. And then we just go straight for a close combat, I guess. There's no real reason not to. As there we go. Down goes the Excadrill. Virizion showing it's a great Pokemon once again. I'm just wondering what Pokemon to use for the thumbnail for these two battles, because Goodra did well in that last game, and so did Lycanroc-Dusk. This game, nothing in particular has stood out, but it's overall a pretty good battle, I'd say. So it depends what this Sceptile does, really. Scizor comes in. This thing can Bullet Punch us to oblivion. Now, I said earlier I wanted to keep my Feraligatr around, my Virizion around for the Sceptile. Looking at this squad, I think Feraligatr is a perfect Pokemon to switch in here, purely because if they go for a U-turn into Sceptile, we can just go for an Ice Punch and ensure it can't go for a Swords Dance. If they go for a Bullet Punch, we can take it and go for a Dragon Dance. So that's what I'm leaning towards. We are poisoned, which is unfortunate. They go for a CC, which is going to do a bit of damage, not too much. And that damage, based on the fact that it's not stabbed, I'd say that's banded damage, if I had to guess. But did we knock off an item earlier? I don't think we did we? So I am leaning towards going for a Liquidation, because it'll still hit the Sceptile, the Liquidation will, because it's still Sheer Force, Life Orb boosted, and Stab. So it should do a lot of damage to the Sceptile regardless. I suppose I could have gone for an Ice Punch, but I didn't want to mess around with the Scizor. Liquidation comes through, does over half to the Sceptile, which is amazing. And then Feraligatr can just go down to this. I'm not really fussed about Feraligatr going down, because it goes down to Scizor's Bullet Punch anyway at this point. So I am going to go for another Liquidation just in case. They go for a Leaf Blade, though. That's going to be able to take us out. So no one Burden boost, which is great. No one Burden so far. But the real question is, do we have anything that outspeeds Sceptile? I'm pretty sure Ninetales does, and it's physical as well. Scizor is an interesting one. So let's go into Virizion first. I'm pretty sure Virizion outspeeds Sceptile, but I could be wrong. Even if I'm wrong, they haven't used their item yet, so I should be all right going for a close combat here. As there we go for close combat. Virizion does outspeed. I thought so. Sceptile goes down. We do get a defense drop, which is unfortunate, but what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to switch into Ninetales, sack it off to a Bullet Punch, then we can bring Virizion back in at full defense stat and go for a close combat. And that should win us the game. I could be wrong. There's the Scizor coming in like so. Scizor is obviously a big threat at this point. If it's banded, we know it's going to definitely take us out of a bullet punch at this point, so we have to go Ninetales to sack it off. There we go. Going to withdraw Virizion just to reset our stat boost, stat drops from defense, and we're going to go into Ninetales to sack it off. We also get the snow up, not that it really matters, and if they don't go for a bullet punch here and they lock themselves into U-turn, we could potentially go for an Aurora Veil, which would be even better. Well, they're going to Terra, so it's good job. It's a good job we didn't stay in close combat if they're going to Terra. Definitely a good job. What are they going to Terra into? Terra Fire. That is terrifying for sure. Let's see what they're going to do to us. Are they going to go for a Terra Blast? They do go for a Terra Blast. Interesting. So no Bullet Punch, just Terra Blast. We might actually live this. I mean, because of the snow boosting our defenses, but it obviously wasn't going to live that. Anyway, Scizor is a big threat right now. We have to go Virizion. Now that we've got our defense stats back, they can't go for Bullet Punch, I don't think, because I think they're banded. Do we risk the Stone Edge or do we go for the close combat? Stab close combat or non-stab super effective Stone Edge? It's a risk, but I think I'm going to have to go for the close combat. If it lives, so be it. It doesn't live because we're choice banded, and that's going to be the game. So that was a close one. Really close game. Came right down to the wire. GG Des, Double D, that was a really fun one. I really enjoyed that battle. Thank you very much. But anyway, here is the team. Try it out if you want to use the code at the top right corner of the screen. Let me know in the comments section if you do use it. I'm interested to see how it turned out for everyone. Thank you for watching today's video. If you did enjoy, of course, leave a like, subscribe, all that wonderful stuff. And with that being said, I'll see you all in a bit.